Come on, for real? Tucker in near disbelief over explosive Tim Walz allegations. What have I been saying since the 2024 election? I've been saying that Tim Walz, the wannabe vice president for Kamala Harris, was a Chinese Communist Party stooge. He's bought and paid for by the Communist Chinese Party, and more and more evidence is stacking up to prove what I've been saying since then. So we're gonna hear what Tucker has to say about it and hear this explosive new allegations. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from American Wire News, and they report that Tucker Carlson appeared to be in near disbelief over allegations brought against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz by investigative journalist Liz Collin. Collin claimed that National Guard members who served with Walz are blowing the whistle over an Army tank manual, quote, that went missing during his tenure. Tim Walz was assigned to this tank. It was nuclear capable, Collins said, before getting to the alleged nefarious behavior. So let's play this clip. Here we go.
I've spoken to a couple people that served with Tim Walz in Nebraska in that guard unit, and they suspect, and we've done stories and tried to reach out to Walz for comment, but they suspect that perhaps he took their standard operating procedure, the SOP, for the howitzer Army tank. He was assigned to this tank. It was nuclear capable, and this was all laid out in the SOP that goes missing while he's there. And
the manual goes missing?
Right, and they had talked to the FBI about this as well. There's so...
What is that?
Before we get to it, when they talk to the FBI, before we get to the rest of it, mind you, this man visited China over 30 times, I think. And he would visit China, and he actually taught in China and all these other things. And then he happened to be in the National Guard, working in a tank where the manual, the SOP manual, which is a nuclear capable tank, just happened to disappear. Is that a coincidence? You think that's just a coincidence?
Any questions?
So why did they talk to the FBI?
They think that he was traveling back and forth from China at this time. And then we also know that this howitzer...
Wait.
I know I sound crazy right now.
No,
Yeah.
you don't sound crazy at all. You're recounting the facts.
Yeah.
You are saying that men he worked with in the National Guard in Nebraska went to the FBI because they believed he had given classified military secrets to the Chinese government?
They suspect that he did. And
well, they suspected to the point that they went to the FBI.
Well, this was all when all these stories are coming out finally about his background, and they're like, maybe we should talk about this. These are guys that back then didn't report this. This was in the early 90s, and they always talked about it amongst themselves. And I think that they weren't completely aware of, the potential threat something like this could pose, but they always thought this was very strange. And then China started producing almost a carbon copy of this military tank a couple of years later.
Wow.
Come on. For real?
Wow.
According to all of our research.
Wow. And this man was a heartbeat away, almost, I should say, was almost a heartbeat away from the presidency. Thank God Trump won the 2024 election. But Collins said the whistleblower had contacted the FBI because Walz was traveling back and forth to China at the time, which of something I reported on back in 2024. Just crazy. What it says here, Doge AI called the allegations explosive. His ties to CCP linked institutions and $7 million in earmarks funneled to entities collaborating with Wuhan lab, Doge AI continued. Yet major outlets bury the story while rubber stamping narratives that protect political allies. Where's the accountability? If a Republican faced these claims, the media would demand resignations, and rightfully so. America deserves answers, not selective outrage. Crazy, right? There was plenty more outrage over the allegations and also frustration over assumptions that there was no accountability. Someone named Gil posted, "We seem to have a lot of American sellouts as spies for China in our country. And when they're exposed, nothing happens. I remember when communism was bad in this country and people who spied for communist countries were punished." I remember that as well. Dark to Light said, "I don't understand why when all the dots are connected in the light shining in the dark, no one is ever held accountable. Don't even tell us about it if you're not going to do anything about it, because that is a slap in the face." I would agree. I hope that the FBI opens an investigation back into this. Crushing Woke Culture says, so a sitting governor is accused of handing U.S. tank tech to China, and then China magically builds the exact same tank, and the media's response is crickets? If this were a Republican, CNN would have called for airstrikes. Treason is trending, and they're fine with it. If you're a Democrat, you can get away with treason. Then Sageza Eternal said, Tim Walz alleged ties to China demand scrutiny. National Guard colleagues reported him to the FBI, suspecting he leaked classified take plans. Then China rolled out a near identical model. This isn't conspiracy. It's a pattern of compromised loyalty. Trump's focus on national, I don't know what the rest of it say, but I'm not going to pull up the rest of that tweet, but I agree. I don't understand why the FBI seems so disinterested in this. Because, I mean, you happen to have a tank, SOP tank manual, just happen to disappear. And then this guy has been traveling to China back and forth multiple times. And right when it disappeared, a couple of years later, they just happened to build a nuclear tank. There's no such thing as coincidences. We all know Waltz is a Chinese stooge. I've been saying it for over a year now. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.